Okay, so let's take a look at this task one. This task one has two parts. It has a pie chart and a table, so it's a kind of a two-in-one. Let's take a look at the data. So basically we have a chart. We have causes of worldwide degradation. Land degradation. Okay. Overgrazing, overcultivation, and deforestation. Now, one thing I notice is that the numbers are very, similar. 35, to 28. The range isn't that big, to be honest. Of course, we have other with really, a big difference. The 7% and 35. There's a big difference there. Okay, so here you're talking about 5 times. Okay, so this for me is very interesting information. We have 3 being very similar, and the lowest number being 5 times smaller than the highest. That's interesting stuff. Now, here we have out of the 4, so we have 3 causes, and then we have other as well. Yeah, out of these 4 causes, we have 3. So 3 of these causes have been put in the second in the second part, which is the table, and we're comparing 3 countries here and how each country was affected by these causes. We have a percentage for the 3, and also we have an overall number. Now, how would I approach a task like this for a basic, band 7 or even band 7 plus? The minimum I suggest doing would be to choose 2 features and to compare them. The easiest would be the lowest number and the highest number. Okay, so that would be, the easiest way. Okay, now we could go for something a little bit more complex and say, you know what, these 3 here, they were very similar in number, whereas there was a huge difference between overgrazing and other. Okay, so that would be a little bit more complex. It would give you a reason to actually give the numbers. And then, we could also talk about the difference, the striking difference between the 2. Then when we move on to the table, also, it would probably be better to be comparing the highest number and the lowest number. The highest number being 23% overall. So this is the total land degradation, so we have 23% here. And the lowest being North America at 5%. Okay. So here we have just under 5 times, because 5 times 5 is 25, and here we have 23. Okay, so that's interesting. So here we have 5 times, and here we also have 5 times, the difference. Okay, so maybe we could mention the number for Europe being the highest, followed by Oceania. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. With the lowest being 5%, North America. Yeah. Let's take a look at what you've done. So here we have, let me just take a look at the thingy. It says the pie chart below shows the main reasons. The pie chart illustrates the principal factors. So we have reasons and factors, principal factors. Yeah, I'm going to say the 4 principal factors because of 1, 2, 3, 4. of worldwide land damage. This is the correct order, worldwide land damage, and here you have the wrong order. I don't know why, land worldwide degradation. So I'm not sure why this time it was wrong, but you seem to know the correct order. This is also written in the table, land degradation, yeah? So we have worldwide land degradation, okay. So the pie chart illustrates blah, 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 while the table demonstrates how North America, Europe, and Oceania were affected by these causes. Now, I'm just a bit worried about this because we only have 3 and we don't have other. So they're not being, represented. Other is not being represented here. Okay, so I'm just worried about accuracy. I know I'm a bit fussy. I would worry about that myself. But anyway, it looks like a good one, yeah. During the 1990s, in the 1990s. I think I think it would be better to say 1990s because it's not 1 year, So here it's probably looking at 10 years. So that would be like a bit inaccurate there, doing that. Now you could, of course, within the introduction, list the 4. They're not many. 4 principal factors, blah 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 blah, and then you could actually put them between brackets. 4 factors, put them between brackets basically, or you could put them between brackets possibly here, and then start another sentence using however. The table demonstrates blah 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 blah. Okay, good stuff. Let's take a look at the overview. Overall, overgrazing was the prime reason of worldwide land degradation, and Europe was affected the most as compared to the 2 other reasons. Basically, I don't think you've done enough. You haven't given yourself the opportunity to write much in the body paragraphs. If in the body paragraph you're just going to present 1 point, you won't have the ability to compare and contrast and bring in other numbers. Yeah, so you just offered like 1 feature. I think you should present 2 features in the overview for the pie chart, 2 features in for the table. It's clear that overgrazing represented the major cause of land degradation. Okay. Now, here you are giving extra information. So we need to put a comma here, and which. Now that can't give extra information. It can define something, which degradation we're talking about. But here we're giving extra information about this major cause of land degradation. So which accounted for more than 1/3. Now we can't, of course, have which and which, and I don't think it's good to be putting relative clauses followed by relative clauses, again and again, whether it's defined or non-defined. I think this is a bit too much. Okay. So I'm tempted to put this. I'm tempted to put this here. I am going to. Full stop. this, get rid of that. 2 noun clauses is too much. I found it very strange when I was reading it, and I was just like, there's something wrong here. I just noticed it now, actually. Which accounted for more than a third. This was followed by deforestation and overcultivation at 30% and 28%, respectively. Now, I think if you offered these numbers and you stated that the numbers were very similar as a key feature, I think it would have been fine. Now, I would have said that the numbers are similar, however, other, only accounted for 7%. However, other, there was, a dramatic, maybe, difference between these, but here you just kind of listed them, and we're always afraid of this mechanical kind of listing. In addition to that, it wasn't really here in the overview. Now, I like to keep it simple. I present features in the overview, I present them here. I don't present them here, I don't present them here. I like to keep them matching. Now, if you just said this was followed by blah, 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 you just gave me one, I would say, okay, maybe the student is trying to give me context for the number. So then I get a feeling for how significant this number is. But when you're giving me a list of them and you're missing maybe the most important thing, which is the difference between other, I don't think this is a good thing. Anyway, let's move on. Obviously, Europe was the most affected, with just under a quarter of its land degraded, which was mostly due to deforestation at 9.8%. While North America had the lowest proportion. Now, what I don't understand is, you found the key feature, you presented the key feature, but you didn't present the key feature in the overview. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the band descriptors. Let's go down. So, academic recounts data with no clear overview, there may be no data to support the description. Presents. Okay. Now, recounts detail mechanically with no clear overview. So you're given the numbers, whatever. Or there may be no data to support the description. Or you're writing something in the overview and you're not giving data. Okay. Here we have inadequately covers key features and so on and so on. So, I tell people to be careful. Presents and adequately highlights key features. Okay, but details may be irrelevant, possibly. Addresses. Minor stages. Okay. So as you see, it's very important to be careful when we're presenting the key features in the overview, or when we're presenting them in the body, and so on. So here, you've just started to list all the other things that you haven't mentioned in the overview. Okay, so it's very, very important that you present your key features in the overview itself. Yeah. So here, what do we have? Presents and adequately highlights key features. So it's very important that you present the key feature and highlight the key features within the body. So while North America had the lowest proportion of land degradation, with just 5%. Here you have a verb without a subject. So I'm just going to put, this was caused principally by overcultivation at 3.3. In Oceania, 13% of its land was damaged mainly by overgrazing at 11.3. And there was no overcultivation factor to be affected by. Okay, I found this mechanical. A lot of this stuff mechanical. I think you could have somehow compared the highest and the lowest in the table, the highest and the lowest in the chart, and that would have been better. If you added like one more number, something like that, for each, it wouldn't have been that much of an issue. Okay. As for grading, I think a generous marker would probably give this a band 7. Probably a more cautious one might give it a band 6.5, and that's what I'm tempted to do. Okay. I'm tempted to do that for a number of reasons. One, I don't think the overview was good enough, covered enough of the key features and so on. Number two, I had issues with cohesion here. I didn't think 100%, that it was that linked and logically presented. So as for grammar and vocabulary, you've done a good job. You've gotten rid of a lot of like strange stuff. There's nothing wrong really with that. I think you have a tendency to use maybe non-defining relative clause like which a bit too much. But other than that, this is like, flawless, grammatically. So yeah, definitely GRA and LR. This is a band 7. Because I'm a bit strict with marks, I'm going to give this 2 6s for TA and CC. I could see a more generous examiner giving you a band 7, but I have to be honest and give my own opinion. Yeah, I'm sure I could see you, develop more. I hope you write something like this in the exam. I think you definitely get the band mark that you're looking for. Yeah. All in all, good job. I think this could be the best or one of the best that you've written so far. That's all for now.